What's up? I'm the empathetic chicken, and I'm having some thoughts. I don't know. I'm just gonna like talk about some things that I felt like might be helpful to other people. So I mean, if not, whatever, you can click off. But I don't know. I just been like struggling a lot with my head, which is not a new thing. But like, I was basically like just like ruminating over some things that have happened. I mean, I'm not gonna like say what, but like I just have been feeling a lot of like, I guess, shame over some things, and it's not even like anything like, I feel like I understand like the shame is kind of like not necessary because I haven't really done anything to warrant like this level of, you know, self-rejection, but it's just something that I struggle with. So I'm trying to work through it, and like I just was sitting there like suffering, like just feeling the pain of all that and just wanting to get out of it, but it's like a habit of just like dwelling. And so like, I don't know, I just started reading stuff about like shame, and then I came across that Russell Brand video where he was talking about like shame is the shadow of the ego. I actually wrote the quote down because I was like, there's something to that quote. But it said, he said, shame is the shadow of ego. Shame is a shadow of wanting to be adored as an individual. That adulation leads nowhere, and the shadow it casts is shame. So I was just like pondering that, because like in my situation, without telling the details, like I just felt like ashamed of like how I showed up, and then how the other person didn't, I guess, receive me in a more, I don't know, I just felt rejected pretty much is the thing, and I already reject myself, so like it almost feels like magnified when it's like reflected by another source, you know? Sorry, I'm getting over a little cold or something. But yeah, anyway, so that quote, like hearing that guy talk was just like, it made me start thinking, because I just wanted to know like, why is this bothering me so much? Like, why can't I just let this go? Like, why? And then like the whole thing he said about like wanting adoration or whatever, it comes from like the ego. And then I was like, you know what? Like, that is what it is. I mean, it sounds like shallow when I think about it like that, but like, I feel like we all kind of create these little identities, like, or we just think of ourselves a certain way, and then we want that to be like received by other people, and then when it's not, it's kind of like the whole hit to your ego thing. It's like, well, dang, I wasn't, you know, as good as I thought or whatever. Like, I don't know. But I feel like we need some kind of like self-concept to like exist. I mean, we develop like likes and stuff that we enjoy. Like, you know, I like cards and Ninja Turtles and, you know, like our interests, like they kind of form who we become, or like our concept of who we are, you know. But I mean, aside from like all these things, like, it's not really me. I mean, if I was like stripped clean of everything, I mean, I don't, like, those things wouldn't define me. Does that make sense? Like, I would still be, like, I would still exist, like, without all the things that I, you know, define myself with. So I'm trying to like make sense here. But pretty much like when somebody hurts us or whatever, it feels like they're rejecting us. But really, it's like we're rejecting us. And it's I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it right. So like the reason this thing like that happened hurt me so much is because like I had this idea of what I thought, like who I thought this person was. And like I had an idea of who I thought I was. And then like when that kind of was shattered, I was like, dang, like, oh my God, this wasn't what I thought. And it was like unsettling. So like, I think that's where I was like hung up on the situation, is like, it wasn't what I thought. Like I had this idea, I had created like this identity for this other person. And like when they didn't live up to that, it was like, you know, a shock kind of. And then like I took it personally because, you know, it didn't like validate my little view of them, and then they didn't validate me, like, so it was like, oh my God, like, how could you do that? But like really, it wasn't the other person's fault, like how I was perceiving them, or like the expectations that I built up for them, you know. And then I feel like that applies to like yourself too a lot. Like when you, I don't know, like I just hold myself to like this insane standard of being like perfect, or needing to be perfect. Like, I don't think of myself as perfect, like obviously, but like because I'm not, I like beat myself up about it. But I mean, that isn't really gonna get me anywhere, because like nobody's perfect, and that whole concept of wanting to be perfect is like an ego-driven thing, because it's like, oh, I want to be like special. And I mean, I feel like everybody probably wants this, but like at the end of the day, we're all just kind of like, I mean, we're special, but like it's not like it's a contest and somebody's better, you know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, we're all gonna write, like, that sounds really bleak, I'm sorry, I'm just like really blunt. But it's just like, you know, we're all just like here, all doing similar things. So it's like nobody gets like a pedestal. I mean, maybe the illusion of a pedestal, yeah, like, you know. But truly, we're all just humans, I guess. Like, so basically, I don't know. I feel like I've known this stuff, but it's just like hard to remember whenever like hurtful things do happen, because like I want to just go back to like my little ego defensiveness, you know, and just be hurt, because like there's like a satisfaction in being the victim, like I'll admit it. So I mean, I don't want to feel that way, but a part of me does, because like the little ego in there is like, like you're justified in the pain. But that's another thing, like as I was thinking of the quote about a Russell Brand guy talking about the little shadow of the ego, like it made me think of like the little quote that I wrote, because I have these little like revelations hit me and I'll write them on little sticky notes. I'm sure people who like follow me know what I do, know that I do this, but in case you don't, like, I do. And sometimes like, I don't even understand what they mean, so like later it's kind of cool how things kind of connect. But I'm trying to find little things, and I've brought these up in another video, I think, about the ego, because I was like learning some things back then too. So let me just give me a little minute to get this settled so I can talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, so I basically said, or I wrote down, pain is the illusion of disconnection exposing itself. And I was like, huh? Like, what? Like, it made sense, but it didn't make sense. But, like, thinking of it the way I'm thinking of it now, it's like, oh my God, what did I say? I had a note on my phone. I wish I could read it, but, like, I'm using my phone. But it's, like, basically, like, it hurts to be rejected, like, by other people, because you're essentially like rejecting yourself, because you've created this little like narrative about who you are, and like you've held yourself to the standard, and when like that standard wasn't like, you know, reciprocated or like received by other people, you're like, oh my God, like they're rejecting me, like ugh. But like really that wasn't you, it was just like your little concept of you. Does that make sense? So like really by having this little like projection of who you are, it's like disconnecting you from who you actually are. Like when you place so much emphasis on it, like I don't think it's wrong to like have a perception of like who we are. Like we gotta do that to be in this little reality, you know, we gotta play the game. But it's like when you place so much like emphasis on maintaining that little fabrication of who you are is when it hurts. Like when you forget that you made that, like, you know what I mean? You set the standard for like who you were to begin with. So like if you remember that, nobody can really hurt you except you, because like you're the one setting the groundwork for like who you are. Am I making any sense? I feel like I'm making sense, but maybe not. So yeah, and I put, so like the whole, sorry, pain is the illusion of disconnection exposing itself. So like really the disconnection will be like the little conditions like that you place on everything, like yourself, like who you perceive yourself to be, and then when you like let yourself down or whatever, like you don't live up to those, that's when you start like feeling bad. But it's like the reason you're feeling bad is because like that's not really you anyways, like, and you just like lied to yourself. Maybe I'm making sense, I don't know. We're gonna just go with it. Sorry. So I said, yeah, when you feel triggered, you're in the process of shedding an illusion. That's like the lie that you told yourself of who you were or whatever, like, you know. And I said, the reason it hurts so much is because your soul is rejecting it to heal. Well, this might be a little deep for people that ain't on like this little level of like spiritual stuff, but whatever, if you're here, like I'm ready to just like start accepting that I am like, I mean, I don't even have to call it weird, but like I've struggled with accepting myself because I'm into like the more spiritual realm of things, and it's hard, or it feels hard for me to navigate because I feel crazy a lot, even though like I have plenty of examples of people that I follow that I really like appreciate. They're on like another level. They don't even care like what they look like or anything. I mean, it seems that way, like they're showing up openly and they're not sitting here like apologizing for being honest about it like I am right now. But yeah, I'm just ready to just say screw it, I don't care. This understanding helps me. I mean, it's here for a reason, I guess. Like, I don't know why I was down the rabbit hole, but I'm obviously here. And I was actually watching a video, or listening to an audio from a video when I used to do my little vlogs, like back in the day. It was from like probably a couple years ago, and it was so weird because I was like in the same spot that I am now, kind of. Not really, but like dealing with the same issues, so it's kind of scary at the same time. I was like, oh my god, like, am I still dealing with this? But like, just basically accepting that I'm on like a different page than a lot of people around me. Not saying I'm above or better or none of that, but just like, I'm a lot like more open-minded like to certain things. Like even I was I'm sorry, I was talking to my sister the other day and she was just kind of like, yeah, you think on like a whole other level. And I started to be offended, but I was like, you know what, it's not like, there's no standard for like the way our minds work. I mean, even though people try to tell you that, little experts, but you know, I ain't whatever, you want to believe that, I ain't believing it. So yeah, I'm just gonna start accepting me for me and try not to impose like whatever like me I feel like I'm supposed to be or whatever. I don't even know, this gets like a little abstract. But like I pulled a card to ask like what, I mean, I was just asking about the ego really, and then I got this be authentic card, which is like kind of weird, like weirdly accurate. It says be real and true to who you are and how you feel. So I mean, that's kind of like at the heart of like, you know, or like basically like the opposite of the ego. It's like being the real you and not like your little fabrication of who you think you have to be. Yeah. Cause like on the whole, back to what I was saying at the beginning with the hurtful experience, like I had made this story about myself that I was like annoying and like not accepted, and then I got mad when that was reflected back to me. And I was like, what? So like excuse me, it didn't really matter like what the outcome was, because like the initial belief that I was annoying was already me rejecting me. So like, I mean, if you reject you, nobody else can really like hold a candle to that, like, because you already screwed, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it don't really matter. Just be authentic. I mean, even with yourself, like sometimes I got to have a talking to myself and be like, hey, it's alright, like, you're good. You ain't gotta impress nobody. It's fine. Maybe you feel like you should have behaved differently, or like, you know, saw yourself differently. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, you can only like move forward. So I mean, the point holding on all that hurt, cause it was all just false anyways. So yeah, I ain't saying like don't feel your feelings, but I mean, having this understanding of my own has really helped me like not to feel my feelings. I mean, not in a avoidant way, but more like a processing way. Like, oh, like, okay, this is why I'm feeling this. So I don't know if that was helpful or like relevant to anyone else, but I just felt like I had a little revelation, and I was like, let me share this. And I know it's nothing new, but like, I don't know, we all on different like levels for our little journeys. So like, maybe this will help somebody out there struggling with a similar thing. I'm gonna still be like integrating, because like I'll be remembering this stuff and then forgetting it, and then like getting my feelings, and it's a journey, man. Like remembering, yeah. So I'm gonna just get back to my little drawing, and I will talk to you again when it strikes me. Thanks for listening.